Welcome everybody to the Fun News Corner, where we dive into the weird, wild, and wonderful stories making headlines this week. Buckle up, because we've got a jam-packed lineup that is as entertaining as it is bizarre. From rumors of China selling TikTok to Elon Musk, yes, you heard that right, to Andrew Tate's plans to run for Prime Minister. Seriously, you can't make this stuff up. We'll also dive into a French woman's heartbreak after being scammed out of €830,000 by a fake Brad Pitt, and take a look at Brian Johnson's anti-aging experiment that, aged him. But that's not all. The Kardashians are making waves, literally, by guzzling 330,000 gallons of water while LA battled wildfires. We'll also talk about Disney getting sued for $10 billion over claims they stole the idea for Moana. And yes, we'll feed you the KSI juice you've all been starving for. His fans might get mad, but hey, they get mad at everything. Stick around, because this is not a clickbait video, and we'll dive into KSI's fan drama, his music, and why YouTube's comments are turning into NPC-ville. You'll get all that and more near the end, so hold tight. Now that you're properly teased, let's get right into it. So, there was this spicy rumor going around that China might sell TikTok to Elon Musk. Yep, the guy who runs Tesla, SpaceX, and probably has a side hustle selling flamethrowers on Mars. It started with whispers of Musk being in talks with Chinese officials. But guess what? It turned out to be about as real as a unicorn on a pogo stick. The whole thing got so ridiculous that Mr. Beast, the YouTube megastar, chimed in with, "Okay fine, I'll buy TikTok so it doesn't get banned." Classic Mr. Beast move, always ready to jump into the chaos. Honestly, it's hard not to imagine Elon Musk owning TikTok and turning it into a platform for live streams of rocket launches or Dogecoin memes. The internet would probably explode, both in laughter and confusion. But alas, this was just another case of the internet doing what it does best, creating chaos out of thin air. But seriously, TikTok's parent company, ByteDance, has faced a lot of pressure globally over data privacy. And while the thought of Elon Musk owning TikTok sounds like a setup for a weird sci-fi movie, there is zero evidence this was ever on the table. It's probably for the best. Can you imagine Musk's tweets if he actually owned TikTok? Next up, Andrew Tate. After spending 5 months under house arrest, the controversial internet personality is free. But he's not just sitting around sipping protein shakes. Oh no, he's reportedly planning to run for Prime Minister under a party called Bruv. I'm not making this up. Rumor has it that Elon Musk supports this wild idea, but let's take that with a big old grain of salt. Tate's fans might see this as a genius move, but critics are already rolling their eyes. Can you imagine political debates where Tate talks about alpha males and top G energy? The memes would write themselves. Tate's legal issues are far from over though, and is still dealing with allegations of human trafficking and other serious crimes. Some people think his political aspirations are just a distraction from his legal troubles. Others are treating the whole thing as a joke, imagining a world where Tate actually holds a political rally full of Bugattis and motivational speeches. So yeah, his political aspirations might hit a few roadblocks, but it'll be entertaining to watch. Moving on to France, where a woman fell for one of the wildest scams I've ever heard. She was tricked into thinking she was in an online relationship with Brad Pitt. Yes, that Brad Pitt. The scammer sent her photos and messages, and she ended up losing a whopping €830,000. That's enough to buy like 10 luxury cars or fund a small indie movie. This story is a huge reminder to never trust someone online who says they are a celeb, unless it's Mr. Beast offering you free Teslas. Even then, double check. People are having a field day with this one, imagining the scammer googling Brad Pitt's most charming photos and copy-pasting sweet nothings from a rom-com script. It's both sad and absurd. The real kicker is how the scammer managed to keep the illusion alive for so long. Did they quote the lines from Ocean's 11? Promise her a walk down the red carpet? Either way, it's a wild tale that reminds us to be skeptical of too good to be true online romances. Brian Johnson, aka the living vampire, has made headlines for spending $2 million a year trying to reverse aging. This dude takes over 400 supplements daily, which sounds less like a health plan and more like a full-time job. But here's the kicker, one of his anti-aging drugs apparently made him look older. out. People online were quick to roast him, calling his efforts a bad midlife crisis. Others were like, at least he's not ruining social media or starting wars. Honestly, props to the guy for putting his body on the line for science, even if it's a little eccentric. Imagine being so terrified of aging that you turn your life into a never-ending science experiment. Some folks joked that it's basically a real-life version of a video game NPC who is obsessed with collecting health potions. On the other hand, there is something oddly fascinating about someone so committed to defying nature. Even if it's a bit much, you can't deny he's living his truth, or at least trying to. Let's talk about the Kardashians because of course they are back in the news. Kim and Khloe Kardashian reportedly used 330,000 gallons of water in 1 month during Los Angeles water restrictions. Meanwhile, the city was battling devastating wildfires. Talk about bad optics. Fans didn't hold back, calling out Khloe for being a hypocrite, since she had previously criticized LA's mayor for not handling the wildfires better. It's the kind of irony that makes you do a double take. What are they even doing with all that water? Filling infinity pools? Watering plants that look like they belong in Jurassic Park? And then there is Beyonce. Her foundation donated $2.5 million to fire relief, but fans pointed out issues with celeb-run charities. Turns out a lot of these organizations, not just Bays, aren't super transparent. People online conveyed that if celebs really want to help, they should stop flaunting their access and start leading by example. At the very least, maybe use less water. Now, onto the YouTube trifecta: KSI, aka KFC, Logan Paul, and Mr. Beast. These guys teamed up to launch Lunsly, which has been getting mixed reviews. Some say it's a genius move, others think it's just a desperate grab for attention. It's like watching the Avengers, but instead of saving the world, they are trying to sell sandwiches, and not just any sandwiches, expensive ones, because why not? KFC's fanbase has also taken a weird turn lately. They've been increasingly toxic, flooding social media with hate-filled comments. It's like his fans went from cheering him on to booing him for fun. Some people are speculating that a shift comes from his massive success, which can sometimes breed jealousy among longtime followers. And let's not forget the drama around KSI's song, Think of It. People mocked it relentlessly, calling it the musical version of a microwave dinner. Still, it racked up millions of streams. Is it a banger or garbage? You decide. Meanwhile, fans are noticing that YouTube's comment section is starting to feel more like Instagram. It's all basic comments and kids farming likes. Someone joked that YouTube comments are basically NPCs at this point, spamming the same phrases over and over. What a time to be alive. And it raises the question, are creators leaning into the controversy just to stay relevant? Or is this just a natural evolution of online culture? Either way, it is a circus and we're all watching. Finally, let's dive into the world of Disney lawsuits. A guy named Buck Whittle is suing Disney for a whopping $10 billion, claiming they stole his screenplay for a movie called Bucky. He says Moana and its upcoming sequel ripped off his story about a Polynesian teen on a quest, complete with demigods, necklaces, and even a whirlpool portal. Whittle claims he pitched the idea to Disney years ago and even sent them concept art and storyboards. Disney denies the accusations, and honestly, $10 billion is a lot of money. Online, people are split. Some say Whittle's claims seem like a reach, while others think it's a classic case of big companies exploiting smaller creators. The similarities he points out are pretty specific though. It makes you wonder if Disney's writers took a little too much inspiration. Like, what are the odds both stories involve magical necklaces and whirlpool portals? People online have joked that Disney's creative meetings might just be a team of interns watching indie films and scribbling notes. Whether he wins or not, this lawsuit is bound to make waves, pun intended. And let's be honest, the idea of a $10 billion payout is so wild, it almost sounds like something Disney themselves would turn into a movie plot. Who knows, maybe in a few years we'll be watching the lawsuit chronicles in theaters. That's all the juicy stories for today, from scams to lawsuits to anti-aging experiments. It's been a wild ride. Let me know your thoughts on these stories in the comments. And as always, stay weird, stay wonderful, and I'll see you next time. Peace.